Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for our instant reaction to Chelsea's or the whole Champions League draw. And boy, is it good to be back. Like, just being drawn against, spoiler, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Napoli, against all these teams, just, it fills my heart. It's good to be back. Even if I'm not a big fan of the new draw style, the way you find out everything all at once, hey, it's good to be back. And what a draw we've got. Bloody hell. I mean, Bayern Munich away from home, Napoli away from home, Atalanta away from home, Barcelona at the bridge. Unbelievable. It's been a crazy draw. Pys, thank you for joining me. Obviously, some rather not so great transfer news, maybe to touch on a little bit later on as well. But sticking to the Champions League draw for now. What a draw it was, huh? And does it feel good to be back for you as well? I think that's going to be a synonymous feeling for all of us.
Man, just tell me when that Barcelona date is. I'm there. I want to be there. I'm at that game. I can't wait. I mean, we probably got the hardest draw, one of the hardest draws, but that's just how it goes. I mean, when they pressed the button, I was like, Barca, Bayern, Napoli. Oh no, like this is just getting worse and worse. But at the end of the day, we're Chelsea. We love the big games, and I'm looking forward to the fixtures. And obviously, we'll go through all of them and I guess discuss of our chances. But that Barca one jumped out at me straight away. I think that's going to be an absolutely incredible atmosphere at Stamford Bridge.
Yes. Before I go to you, Dimitar, big up everybody that joined from Lewis's stream. Hit that like button, like Lewis says. Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate you, my bro. Have a good one. Dimitar. Similar question to you, but one difference. You don't live in London, you live in Munich. So yes. A very good draw from that perspective for you. Hopefully, well, I live also fairly close. So hopefully for all of us, we can get tickets. But exciting draw, isn't it? And it feels good to be back.
Yeah, I mean, I literally remember the last time I think I watched a draw like this. It was in 2021 in the pandemic, and I was just so buzzing for a Champions League draw. Since then, I have not felt like this because it's been so long until we entered this competition, and you think we can actually win this. I mean, we can at least go far. We can do well. So yeah, also we talked briefly a couple of days ago. If Chelsea draw Munich, can we do something? And I'm very happy that happened. And let's see if we can actually think of something to do here on this away day for you guys.
Yeah,
and home day for me.
Yeah, and home day for you. Home day for you. Exactly. It's exciting. Now, there haven't been any super nice graphics that I've seen yet of just our fixture. So if somebody has seen one, please DM me to me or something. But for now, we'll have to go with this if I don't just want it written down in words. There you can see it. Obviously, we don't know the date. I'm not sure if the order they're in there will in principle be the order of the games, or if the order of the draw can change completely. I'm not quite sure, because then obviously Barca at home and Bayern Munich away would happen very, very soon, and that would also be a very difficult start to the Champions League stage.
I think is based on the pots. This is based on the pots. So you see Pafos and Qarabag.
True. So it's got to be scrambled up from what that is, right? So yeah, exactly. It's got to be scrambled up from there, and let's see when those games happen. But like I say, Barca at home. I mean, Lamine Yamal at the bridge. Obviously, Barcelona very much high in form. Didn't win the Champions League last year. Were they better than PSG, considering how we battered PSG? I don't know. Will be interesting to find out how we stack up against Barcelona. The same goes for Bayern Munich. Obviously, insane start to the Bundesliga with a 6-0 win against Leipzig, who are one of the fourth, fifth, sixth best team in the country, and they battered them 6-0. That's mental, by the way. Benfica, Atalanta is going to be a difficult game. I'm not quite sure if everybody realizes quite how difficult that game may or may not be. Obviously, they lost Gasperini, so I'm not. I don't know how their first game of the season went, but will be different, Atalanta, to what we're used to. So let's see how different it will be. Ajax. I mean, Pys, you and me on our podcast, little plug. Link is down in the description. Chelsea Unfiltered. We uploaded the last episode Saturday after the game, and there will be a new one this coming Sunday after the game. So check that out. But we a few weeks ago had an Ajax journalist, I guess, expert on our podcast talking about Jonathan Hato, obviously our new signing. Well, we're facing them again. How good are they now? I don't really know. But Dimitar, I'll come back to you. Obviously, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, the big ones. But what else stands out to you? What do you see as particularly difficult? For example, Qarabag away is obviously a far journey. Does that play a role? Do you know what I mean? Like, where do you stand on not just the big draw, I guess, but also the other teams, right? Like, what do we think about them?
Well, first of all, I just noticed that we literally played the 4 teams we played in 2012 in the knockout stage: Barcelona, Bayern, Benfica, and Napoli, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
Back to that times.
It's a little really And by the way, everybody hasn't seen the new Champions League ball. Literally has a lion on it and is blue. I don't know. Now we have a 2012 reunion run. I don't know. Yeah. Is it written in the stars? It might be.
Yeah, well, but when it comes to the other teams, I think a little bit of a tough draw, but at least we get to play exciting teams which play good football, and we get to see Pafos, which I don't know if you guys know, David Luiz plays there now, which is insane because he's almost 40, and also it's their debut in the competition, so they should be very up for it. And Qarabag away, not the best, still better than Almaty. But I guess we have an interesting draw, and it will be great to test ourselves, because when the Conference League, we played some semi-decent teams, but obviously nothing even to this level. So it would be very, very good to see the new lineup, the new players, the Maresca in his second season, how we can square up to some of the most exciting teams in Europe, because we have the Italian champions, we have Bayern Munich, we have Barcelona, we have Atalanta, we have Ajax.
The Spanish, the German, and the Italian champions.
Yeah, I mean,
it's crazy when you think about it like that. Nice. Let me get to you. Obviously, you touched on Barcelona. That is the big one. Obviously, Bayern Munich away is the other big one. What do you feel about the other games? Like, is there a game in there that you feel like could be a surprising, like, points drop? Obviously, last season, not sure if everybody is aware, last season it took you 16 points to be in the top 8, which obviously ideally you'd want to be, because you save yourself the 2 extra playoff games in like late January, early February. So ideally you'd want to be in the top 8. For that, seemingly you needed last season you needed 16 points. So, do you see that as a possibility for us, Pys?
Sorry, bro. You're gonna have to do the maths here. What's that? 16 points? What's that? 5 wins or 4 wins or?
5 wins and a draw.
5 wins at bloody. I mean, bloody hell, that's difficult with this, isn't it? I don't know if we get that. Maybe. I mean, just looking at it on paper, Ajax, Pafos, Qarabag, Benfica, you'd expect us to beat them probably, especially because Benfica and Ajax are both at home. And then, I mean, you know what? I actually think Napoli, and I think Atalanta away might be harder than Napoli, but maybe I'm wrong. I just think watching a lot of Atalanta at home, they're very, very good. I know Napoli are good, but yeah, I don't know. I think probably, I reckon we could get 3 points out of one of those, or at least 2 draws, probably lose to Bayern Munich, but you never know, because, I mean, the thing with Barca and Bayern, even though they're really top teams, they're both going to play the way that suits us, in terms of they're going to come at us and play football. So, no one gave us a chance against PSG, and look what happened then. So I wouldn't rule us out winning one of those games against Barca or Bayern. You never know. It'll be close, but I don't think they'll absolutely batter us unless we have some like terrible form or injuries at the time. But it's just really hard, really, with the Champions League draw, because you just, when they're officially released in terms of the fixtures and the dates, you kind of see, right, when we play Barca, who's around the corner in the Prem, and that type of thing that can influence team and all that. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but really tough group, I'd say. Really tough group.
Yeah, or league, or not league, really, or just
group.
Set of fixtures, I guess.
I'm still calling it a group.
Yeah, it's a group. It's a group. Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Then, hey, I mean, if you were watching the draw and you had the original commentary or the live audio, I guess they were getting confused as well. And he was like, group. I shouldn't call it a group. I can't even speak today. I don't know what's going on. By the way, welcome everybody in the chat. Leave us your thoughts. How happy are you with the draw? What are you most looking forward to? What do you think is most difficult? Shout out everybody, including JC. Obviously, hit the like button if you haven't done it yet. Subscribe if you haven't done that either. That'd be massively appreciated. But yeah, it's an interesting call, like you said, Pys, to think maybe Atalanta could be more difficult than Napoli. I mean, like I say, they obviously lost their manager. I'm just not really sure what that will mean to them. I think Lookman might be leaving as well. Somebody in the chat was just talking about that. I don't know. It was really difficult to judge Atalanta for me. I honestly, got to be honest, I don't even know who they got in to replace Gasperini.
They got Juric, the guy who was at Southampton last year for some time. Yeah, very weird managerial.
Really? Very weird appointment. So maybe I'm not as scared of Atalanta. I might think about going to Atalanta as well as Munich, by the way. It's not that far. So could think about that. Anyway, Napoli, obviously, we can't forget. That is a reunion on its own.
Yeah.
Romelu Lukaku, Antonio Conte, Kevin De Bruyne as well. I mean, bloody hell.
Scott
just
McTominay.
please, for the love of God, Chelsea, don't let Scott McTominay score. Just please, just don't let Scott McTominay score. Can we just, I don't know, Pais, do you reckon that? I mean, I know you just said maybe Atalanta is even more difficult than Napoli, but I feel like Napoli, obviously, like you said, reigning Italian champions, obviously added Kevin De Bruyne to their setup now. I suppose that he's still looking at a striker because Lukaku's injured at the moment, so it depends on when that draw takes place in terms of do we actually face Lukaku or not, but kind of fun, kind of scary to play a team with so many reunions. I feel like where do you stand on that, Pice?
Yeah, I don't know. I might have gone too early on that. I think Napoli might be harder. I didn't realise I forgot they'd lost Gasperini and I mean Lookman, is a good player, but he's rumoured maybe leaving. So they've been decent. I think Atalanta, but Napoli, yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't know. I think, they're obviously champions, but Lukaku and the reunion side of things, I feel like they've got some older players. Obviously, let's see who they sign as well. McTominay, like you said, don't let him score against us again. He seems to get most of the goals. So I don't know. The Italian teams are always tough, but it'd be nice to beat Conte. It would be really nice to beat him.
I mean, I bloody hope we beat him. I mean, we can't look at it from obviously kind of trying to predict our results draw. We'll look at the other, at least the pot one draws as well. Dimitar, before I move on to that, I obviously touched on the reunions from Napoli. Where do you see Napoli? I'm not sure how much Italian football you get to watch. Obviously, they won Serie A last season after kind of a bit of Inter dominance the few years before that. So, yeah, I mean, how good are Napoli? It's weird because Conte usually wins the league, but then next season is not that good. But that doesn't apply in Italy because with Juventus, I think he won 7 in a row. So, yeah, how good are they? But he's never been good in Europe, has he? He has one of the worst European records of any big manager ever. I don't think he's won more than 2 or 3 knockout rounds in the Champions League in his career, which is crazy. Genuinely wild. But their team is good though, so it's it's just difficult to judge Italian football really compared to us, I guess, nowadays.
I mean, I haven't watched many full games. I watched a lot of highlights because I really wanted to see how the hell did McTominay win Player of the Year in Italy. I was really interested in seeing that, and I saw they were playing some fast-paced, exciting football. Of course, it had the Conte pragmatic signature, where he will always try to defend rigidly, but then he can always come at you on the counter and he can always sneak a result against you, is the impression I got from them. So classic Conte team, they will be up for it, I'm sure. I mean, every time I say this to myself and when I discuss with friends, Conte has to do something in Europe this year for sure. He has to start doing something there. And yeah, hopefully not against us, but I can see them actually doing something because they will probably be a little bit of an underdog still because it's Napoli, it's not Juventus, it's not Milan, it's not Inter. They don't have that aura around them. But yeah, it also really depends when we play them and what the situation is in the squad. Because if we play them when Lukaku's fit, when Kevin De Bruyne is basically embedded into the team, then it will definitely be harder. But if we get to play them early on, maybe we could get a good result against them. But looking at this, I actually think we could win all 4 home games because, like Pais already said, Barcelona style will suit us. They will try to play football, so we could outplay them. It's not impossible. And for Benfica and Ajax and Pafos, we should be expecting to win those. So maybe we could afford the slip up against Napoli or Atalanta or something like that and still finish in the top 8. I mean, it doesn't sound impossible.
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if we finished these 8 games without losing. I'm not saying we're winning every game, but I think there's a chance we don't lose any. But quite exciting, as we are live here, by the way. So, Pice, Dimitar, pay attention as well, because Chelsea have just, kind of released a video, I guess, on our Champions League draw. So, it's only 18 seconds. I thought it was longer. Absolutely nothing. I was like, finally, I have a graphic where I can put all clubs down. But no, they are literally just no more creative than anybody else. Sorry for the hype, guys, but at least we're back in the Champions League, so that is fun.
Yep.
That video was nowhere near as exciting as I thought it would be. Well,
I guess only the interns are at the office right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, would have been a quick turnaround to get that done, obviously, because, well, it felt almost like Chelsea weren't ready for it either in terms of in terms of finding out all 8 opponents in one go, because they did post the two opponents for pot 1 as its post, and then they were like, oh, we have all the opponents already. So then they kind of gave up halfway through. But here we can see the graphic for all the draws from the teams from pot 1, which obviously there's some big teams in pot 2 as well. I'll see maybe Champions League have posted for those pots as well by now. But obviously, like Pi said, it kind of would be interesting to compare. You can see our fixtures obviously down here. Who else has a difficult draw? Obviously, Bayern Munich inadvertently, they play us, so it's got to be difficult. We're world champions at the end of the day. But they've also got PSG. They've got the world champions. They've got the European champions. And they've got the bottlers. So, we'll see how that goes. Bayern, Arsenal is always exciting. I think we all know and love and remember the good old days of, Arsenal losing, 5-2 back-to-back home and away against Arsenal, and a few good people on Arsenal fan TV absolutely losing their minds.
I was at that last game when they lost 5-2 here. It was insane. The meltdowns on FTV were amazing. I watched them live in front of the stadium.
It was so funny, man. I just wish they did it reverse way round, I guess. But PSG also not going to be easy. Obviously, Bayern, like I said, Barca, obviously that would be interesting. Atalanta, Leverkusen, Spurs, considering being from pot 3, certainly by far the most difficult team you could have got from pot 3. That's for sure. Newcastle as well from pot 4. That's extremely difficult, I would say, and Bilbao too. But yeah, I think maybe actually PSGPys might have an even more difficult fixture list than we do, because they've only got Sporting as like a game where I'm like, yeah, they should come well, and Leverkusen, because I don't really rate them now on the Ten Hag. They've only got 2 games where I'm like, that should be an easy win for you lot. I feel like Athletic Bilbao, especially away from home, is difficult, no?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I'll tell you, sleeper game in there. I was just looking through these. As a neutral, as a sleeper game, Newcastle at St. James's against Barca is going to be an absolute banger of a game, I think. Similar to our one against Barca, just, St. James Park on a Champions League night. They beat PSG like 4-0, didn't they? Like, a year or 2 ago. Like,
True.
That's going to be a banging game. I can't lie, just seeing that one. I didn't know.
It will be a banging game with potentially Nick Woldemar. All of a sudden, the German striker Bayern initially tried to sign us.
PSG as well. Barca versus PSG is there. Barca at home against PSG. That's a big game.
Absolutely. Also, Real Madrid, Liverpool. Trent coming back to Anfield.
That's so scripted, man. You can't tell me that's not rigged.
Written in the stars, yeah.
Bellingham and Trent coming back to Anfield.
Like the boos, you will hear those boos all the way to Manchester, I swear.
Oh, that's going to be a wild night, that one. Real City as well. Bloody hell.
Yeah, really Real Madrid City as well. Yeah, it's true. What other big game? Obviously, we talked about Bayern, Arsenal. Is there anything else? Liverpool, obviously Real Madrid. We said Inter, Atletico. I mean, Frankfurt, obviously, with fan base is big, with Marseille.
Galatasaray.
One of the few games where I might want Liverpool to win when they play Marseille, but, we'll see.
I was going to say Galatasaray at home against Liverpool could be a tough game for them.
Oh, yeah.
Galatasaray at home. Very, very good.
Difficult. Yeah, they still have Icardi. They got Sane, Osimhen. They want Ederson. It's insane what they're doing over there.
Crazy stadium and atmosphere. That would be tough.
Yeah, that exactly the team and the combination of the atmosphere. Obviously, I mean, knowing Liverpool, they'll probably get enough points to be fine, whether they struggle away at Galatasaray or not. But even still, Dortmund. I mean, they're already the kind of the little bit the laughing stock or the odd one out in pot 1. I don't know how they got here, if I'm being totally honest. I know they made the Champions League final a couple of seasons ago, but still. They've also got, I don't know, man. I mean, Inter City, obviously not easy, but Inter is beatable. I know they made the Champions League final, but I don't know. Obviously, they lost Inzaghi. They lost quite a few players. And I feel like without Inzaghi, that's half the success gone, if I'm being honest. Juve, I don't really know. Like, they got Spurs, obviously, but Dortmund got away with one here. Because they always get draws like this. This is where they are in pot 1. I don't know how they've achieved that. Seriously. I mean, let me quickly escape, just close this image and reload that. Let's see if they've posted the whole thing for pot 2 all the same. Well, they have. Obviously, there's a few more interesting teams. You can see Arsenal's fixture list: Bayern, Inter, Atletico, Athletic Bilbao. Yeah, could have been more difficult, let's be honest. I feel like Bruges, I mean, I shouldn't underestimate them, but Olympiacos, Slavia Prague, Almaty and they're playing them at home. It's almost like a Europa League draw. I can't even lie. They've got Bayern and Inter in Europa. Like, I don't really know.
So I think the young lad Sapayev is He's in pot 4, right? So he's going to play against Arsenal. I think Kairat have also got Real Madrid. So, really, really big games
Let
for
me
him.
actually, for this reason, because obviously, say his name again. I always struggle to remember his name.
Sapayev, the striker.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah. So obviously the Kazakhstani wonder kid, Kazaki, as maybe you should say, wonder kid that we signed a year and a bit ago. I feel like at this point he's 17, plays for these guys, Kairat Almaty, and obviously so we'll see him in the Champions League before he even plays for Chelsea. So that's worked out quite well for us. It's almost like signing Mudryk before he ever played Champions League for Shakhtar. Go on.
That's great. I mean, they knocked out Celtic. I know, over 2 legs, and he didn't play the second leg. I mean, that's just crazy. I think it's it's suspended. He got a yellow card.
Suspended. Yeah, my bad. Exactly.
But I think it's like the first time ever a Kazakh team's qualified, is it, or at least for like?
It's the second. They had Astana a few years back, but it's still a very big deal for them.
I mean,
true,
crazy.
I actually remember. But also, I will always come back to this issue that I have with this. Why are Kazakhstan taking part in European competitions? I don't really fully get it. I know the very, very west of that country is officially geographically in Europe, but I still find it
actually it's not.
But anyway, here you go. It's just really far to travel. Obviously, thankfully, didn't meet us again, but there you go. Otherwise, obviously, I guess we can look at Newcastle from a Premier League perspective. Barcelona, PSG, Leverkusen. Otherwise, not that difficult of a draw. Much easier of a draw than we got. Let's be honest. Especially the fact that they play Bilbao at home rather than away. Marseille away will be kind of difficult, I suppose. But yeah, not that bad for Newcastle. Let's go back to pot 2. Was anybody else interesting? Atletico, Inter, Liverpool, Arsenal.
Atletico had a horrible draw. Like PSV, Galatasaray, Liverpool, Inter. Oof.
Wait, who did you say? Say again, sorry.
Atletico, they have a horrible
I did say Atletico. Sorry, you were going from the other direction. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, it's really tough. Yeah, especially Gala away. Yeah, it's really. I have no idea how good Union Saint-Gilloise are, the Belgian team. I have no idea how good they are. I just know they were Europa League or Conference League for the first time the other season.
I think they went deep. I think 2 years in a row in the 2 of the competitions, either the Conference League or the Europa League. They went deep. They went like to quarters or something like that. So they have some pedigree actually. Also, Bodo Glimt. They got some serious pedigree over the last.
They absolutely battered the Austrian champion Sturm Graz, by the way, in their qualifier. They won 5-0 in the first leg. I don't even know how the second leg finished yesterday. But by the way, I just noticed Frankfurt got a tough draw as well. Liverpool, Barca, Atletico, Spurs, Napoli, and Gala. Okay, Gala is at least at home for Frankfurt, but still, that's
Qarabag away.
Yeah, and Qarabag away is not nice for traveling either. There you go. Not easy. And yeah, just to look at it, just to, for the completion's sake, I guess Spurs as well. Dortmund, PSG. Otherwise, what is this? Bodo Glimt again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a Europa draw at best.
Yeah, it's barely. Slavia Prague. Bodo Glimt, I guess they went to the Europa League semi-final last season. It can't be that awful. But even still, bloody Spurs. Do you know what I mean? I'm already fuming again. But on that note, I guess just to finish it off, I would like us to essentially predict how we think we could do in each of the fixtures. So let's just quickly go through them from bottom to top, I guess, just to go upwards in excitement trajectory, I suppose. Dimitar, I'll start with you. Qarabag away and Pafos should be 6 points. Those two, right?
Yeah. Also, it depends when the games are, because if we have already qualified for the final 8, I think maybe we could play the reserve team in Qarabag away if it's the last game. So, but if it's a game that matters, I believe we should be getting those 6 points easy.
Yeah, even to be honest, we can leave a few players at home and still be expected to beat Qarabag, I feel like. Yeah. But no, I definitely agree. Pys, 6 points for you as well in Pafos and Qarabag.
Yeah, it has to be, right? I think unless David Luiz scores like a screamer or something, and we can't break down a Pafos low block, then we should win.
Imagine a David Luiz low block. If you can't beat a defense of a 40-year-old David Luiz, you might as well sack the manager. I can't lie. It's almost like losing to Grimsby Town. But, thankfully that's not us. Pys, I'll stick with you. Napoli, Ajax, it's getting more difficult, obviously. Considering, how is Napoli pot 3, by the way, as Italian champions? How's that happened then? I don't really know how that's going.
Their coefficient as team.
Yeah, I guess their coefficient's got to be low. But still, to get Napoli out of pot 3 is... And obviously, we couldn't get Spurs. So that is not easy at all. But yeah, Pies, Ajax, Napoli away. What do you reckon out of those two fixtures? How many points we get?
I'm going to say 4. I'm going to go with a draw away at Napoli and a win against Ajax.
Yeah, I was probably going to say the same thing. Yeah, I have to. And I'm going to one hand, I was thinking, let's not be boring. Let's say something different. Okay, we're going to win both. So then in the end, I'm just going to say we're going to win every game, which is also unrealistic. So so I'll have to go with 4 points as well. Dimitar, do you reckon 4 as well? Do you reckon we maybe lose at Napoli? Could be, obviously.
I agree. I generally think we will slip up in the away games in some way, shape, or form. And I generally think we'll win all the home games. There's a spoiler. I mean, we should. So yeah,
you know, it's weird because I feel like in the away games, so when we are away, those teams will be even less defensive against us, and I think that actually plays in our hands. So I feel like there's, to an extent, like Qarabag will park the bus no matter where we play them, but Pafos in Greece would be a little bit more easy for us than it is at the bridge. I feel like, because at the bridge they'll just come and park the bus no matter what. But yeah,
this is true in theory, but I still think that Barcelona and Bayern will come to play no matter if we play them on the moon, at the bridge, at the
Obviously, I take the first two out of this equation.
Maybe you are correct for Atalanta and Napoli, actually, because we played them away. Maybe they will be more open than we expect, but still, I think that they could.
It kind of only applies to those two. You're right. It kind of does only apply to those two. Going to the next two, though, I'll stick with you, Dimitar. Benfica and Atalanta, weirdly, feels to get easier. I don't know if that's just my presumption from the names, but it feels easier than Ajax and Napoli to me. So you're thinking 6 points, you're thinking 4 points again, you're thinking we maybe lose away at Atalanta. Again, no idea how good Atalanta are going to be this year.
I'm gonna say 4 points again, because I genuinely believe that Maresca will try to win all the home games, because it's going to be his first serious test in Europe at the bridge, and he looks like a guy who knows when it's important for us to win, when it's important for us to try to win at least. So I guess that we would throw everything at winning the home games. So yeah, that's I'm going to stick with.
You got to think Maresca is Italian though, so he will really try in those away games too. But realistically, he will just try to win every game equally, I would assume. Sorry?
This is a good point. He's Italian. Yeah, I mean, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, fair. Pies, what do you think? Benfica, Atalanta, is that 6 points for you? Is it 4 points again?
I might go 6 points, I mean, I'm just looking through Atalanta. They're not as good as I feel like they used to be. I mean... Yeah, I'm gonna go for 6 points. Yeah, let's back us to win.
I'll give us 6 points too. I'll give us 6 points too in this one. So I'll be optimistic. I'll go to the last two. I'll say mine first. I'm giving us 2 points here. I reckon we draw both. It's a bit anticlimactic, I know, but like I say, I don't predict us to lose a game. But I only predict 2 draws out of us. I don't think we beat either, which is a bit of a shame. But, not losing is pretty good as well, I suppose. Price, what do you reckon? 2 points, 4 points, 3 points, maybe 1 loss, one win?
Maybe 0 points.
Could be.
I mean, the Barca game's going to be a shootout. Who scores the most goals? And hardly anyone outscores Flick's Barca. It's also going to be a case of, because they play such a high line, it's like, okay, do we prepare for that in terms of, staying on side? Maybe we go like 2-0 up and then we just have like a defensive masterclass. I just don't know. I do think we'll lose to Bayern away. I'm not particularly keen on that game. Even though I think Barca's better than Bayern, I just don't like Bayern away. I think that's going to be very tough to get something from there. I hate to say it, but I might go 0 points.
Really?
Nah. No, I'll go 1. I'll go 1.
I think if you
bro, their attack's ridiculous.
Overwhelmed by Barca, and I think our defense is significantly better than theirs.
But Lua, Yamal, Rafinha, against. I mean, we'd have to be incredible on that particular night.
Yeah, but we've got Cucurella, so I'm not even worried about Lamine.
But I mean, we could do it. You know what? I'd rather be negative and then be surprised. If we win. So I will go with 0 points, unfortunately.
Okay. Fast.
Sorry.
Dimitar, are you going to meet us in the middle? Are you going to go with 1 point? Are you all of a sudden going to turn into Mr. Optimistic and predict more than 2 points?
I'm gonna stick with a minimum of 3. The question is, can we not lose in Munich? 'Cause I think we will beat Barca at home. Like I said, I mean, we will try, and especially because we still have some payback to do. Even though we eliminated them in 2012, that 2009 game still lives in my mind. So I think that even though no one at the club now was back then at the club, I think that there should be this collective heritage.
Maybe
So they
Reese, I
look
guess,
quite
but
good.
even Reese was really young in 2009.
Yeah, he probably doesn't even remember that game. But still, I mean, we should be up to win all of the home games. I don't know if we can avoid a loss in Munich here, but it's gonna be an interesting game for sure because Company is not that great
Sorry
of a
to
coach.
interrupt you. I think Bayern so largely depends on their injuries because their
Yeah,
squad, they basically don't even have a squad. They have a starting 11 and that's it, basically. But
yeah.
their starting 11 is really good. Harry Kane or Lisa. Obviously, they might have Jackson, which would be kind of ironic if Jackson obviously plays, scores, whatever he potentially could do against us. They've got Luis Diaz from Liverpool. So they're starting 11, obviously Joshua Kimmich as well. Goretzka found some new form. Nowadays, Upamecano actually looks like the defender he was said to be 5 years ago. So he's kind of starting to look a little bit more it as well. You never know with Manuel Neuer. Is he going to be the GOAT Neuer or is he going to be old Neuer? But if they have a couple of injuries, they could be absolutely done.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Yeah. So it's like, because they have such a thin squad and they seemingly can't afford to get anybody on a permanent transfer. Now, Nick Waltemade was supposed to go to Bayern and now he's going to Newcastle instead. So I don't know, man. I think if they have 1 or 2 injuries, I don't know, man. I mean, I see where you're coming from, Pice, but I feel like this omen, because obviously last time we played Bayern away, we were, obviously, we then lost the 3-1. Hudson-Odoi scored our cancellation goal, but that was kind of the regame what was supposed to be, and then COVID happened. But I still feel like in our memories, the 2012, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it will play in our favor. I don't really know. Maybe I'm just talking myself up for it, but
the thing is, you are correct.
I say I back us. I predict the 2 points. We're going.
Their starting 11 is very strong, and if they gel, they can win. I mean, if they are on their day, if they have some luck on their side, they can beat us. I mean, especially here in Munich, I have no doubt in that. The thing is, what form will we be in by that time? What injuries will we have? What injuries will they have? And also, if the game is going to be important, because there is a scenario where the 2 teams play each other knowing a point will qualify them for top 8, for example, if this is the last game. So we never know. But yeah, let me say 4 points. Let me also be positive. No losses and almost the maximum. I think I predicted 5 wins and 3 draws, which I think is, like also you mentioned, we could end up without losing a game, which feels like logical or at least plausible, if I might say so.
Yeah, it does feel plausible. I mean, Pice, if we add yours up, what you said 0 points of the first 2, then you said 6, so then you said 10, and then you said another 6. So that will be exactly the 16 points. You know?
Yeah, and that includes...
We'd have the 60, but the question is, will 16 points be enough again?
Well, that's the thing. That it means that my prediction is also based on not winning any of the 2 biggest games there, which we are Chelsea. We could do, but I'm just going on the more pessimistic route, I'd say.
Yeah, and that is fair enough. Dimitar, what did you say? You said 3 out of the first 2. Then you said 4, so 7. 4 again is 11, and then 6 out of 2. So that's 70. So you're also predicting us to make the cutoff that it was last year at least. What about me? I said 2. I said 6, 8, 12, and 6. I said even 20. Look at me, Mr. Optimistic. Do you know what I mean? And people call me a hater. Do you know what I mean? But here we are. When we sit there with 12 points at the end and are miserable and having to play a playoff round against somebody really good, I will look like a mug. But touch wood, that doesn't happen. And we just, ideally win every game. That would be fantastic. Now, I'm trying to scroll my ass off to get, because there's a transfer window has gone absolutely crazy. We got to Here We Go this morning. And here we go, that Chelsea have been waiting for a long, long time. We got Here We Go for Christopher Nkunku. I'm just looking for the proper tweet. I don't know if things are being deleted or what is going on here. I don't understand. There it is. Finally, here we go. So, here we go for Nkunku. Pice, you're the transfer expert, so I'll come to you. Mm-hmm. Did you ever think this was going to happen? I'd honestly given up. I never thought this would happen anymore. And honestly, 35 million euros. David Ornstein reported 42 million euros. So therefore, I'm assuming 35 plus 7 is the deal. And we have a sell-on clause, which you don't see very often for a 27-year-old. I feel like this is more of a thing for, I don't know, under 24-year-olds that you get yourself a sell-on clause. But here we are. A decent fee, on book value for him, considering we signed him for 60 million euros 2 years ago. Well, we signed him more than that ago, but he played 2 years for us. Pretty much a book zero. So we're not really making a loss, even though obviously if you're just looking at the numbers that were paid and that we're selling for, it's a 20 million-ish loss. But yeah, well, we're going to talk about what else this means now. But purely looking at this deal, positive, happy, unhappy, surprised. What are your feelings, Pies?
Well, I mean, on the base of things, very happy. I mean, it's a great price. I thought we was going to get less. I thought we was maybe going to get like 30 million pounds, but it seems more like 36 million pounds. Yeah, I mean, it's good. The question is, do we get Xavi Simons though? That's the question, right? It was always linked to Xavi Simons. Everyone was saying, well, if Nkunku goes, we'll go for Simons, and I guess we're going to go on to Simons. So do you want me to touch on that now or just wait?
Yeah, you can touch on that now. I'll just bring it up on screen in a second.
Yeah. So obviously we've got Spurs hijacking in quotation marks, but it very much seems like, okay, Spurs have a deal ready with Leipzig for Simons, and it's more like, Matt Law even says in this article, there's nervousness at Tottenham until the deal's done, aka Spurs and Leipzig are waiting to see if Chelsea bid. If Chelsea come in and match the price, I still think we get Xavi Simons, but it's gone really quiet today, and I'm just expecting news to hit, maybe later tonight or tomorrow morning, where we're going to find out really what Chelsea are going to do, because if Chelsea don't match Spurs' bid or go above, I seriously think we could lose out on him. And it just doesn't make any sense. We've been waiting to buy this player for weeks. We've been waiting for Nkunku to go for weeks. And then all of a sudden, now we've got Nkunku gone. You're telling me that we're not going to bid for Xavi Simons? What Leipzig? Well, it just doesn't make any sense. So if Chelsea walk away from this deal and let Spurs get him, not only are we letting a top player go away, but the optics are absolutely horrendous from us. They're terrible. I mean, this player has been waiting to join Chelsea for weeks and weeks and weeks. And yeah, it says Simons has been attracted by the project offered for Spurs. But at the end of the day, what Spurs do doesn't matter. It's what Chelsea do. What's Chelsea's next step? Are we going to go in there with a bid? Or are we just going to be fools again and lose another transfer? Like, have some pride as well with Spurs being involved. You don't let this player go to Spurs. I mean, are you crazy? So it's not over yet, but I'm starting to get, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see this bid from Chelsea, because what's going on here? Like, I don't understand, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, the whole thing is a bit weird. Obviously, we can touch on Garnacho as well in a minute. But, the Nkunku deal happens. It was for so many weeks and months, it was said Nkunku needs to happen for Simons to happen. Obviously, it was also at times said that it needs to be Nkunku and Jackson. It was always a bit unclear what do they actually mean and need to be sold and not loaned and whatever else. But exactly like Pies said, even if obviously we have this supposed interest in Fermin Lopez now, I know I say supposed, now Pies will say, no, this has been confirmed by, the big people. I know it has been confirmed by the big people. I still kind of don't really believe it. I still find it weird. Why would we be after Simons and basically agree everything personally with him, basically hold him on the leash for 2 months, a month and a half? Only to 3 days ago, all of a sudden change our minds, or not change our minds, but have another option in mind in Fermin Lopez, who's a completely different style of number 10, which I'm not even debating. Is he better? Is he worse? There's different ways of looking at this. Who is the better player? Who's the worst player? Whatever. But it's just a very different style of player. So the way our football club is supposedly being run, data-led, sporting directors, scouting, finding the right players for the manager and for the team, the style we play and fit the right profile for the team and this and that, to then one completely different style of player, to me, doesn't really make any sense. So then either Simons was the weird one and the opportunistic signing and nothing else, or Fermin Lopez is that. But Simons supposedly costs about 70-odd million euros. And supposedly Barcelona have set the asking price for Fermin Lopez at what was it, price? $77.5 million pounds?
Well, yeah, the Barcelona aggregator, Rashad Rahman, says that's one of their best sources. I don't know Spanish sources really, apart from Matteo Moretto, but I posted it because he said it's reliable, and he says they've set a price of 77 million. I mean, that is ridiculous. We're not going to pay that. Even if it's 60 million, we're not going to pay that, because otherwise we just get Xavi Simons, right? So I don't know. I do think Chelsea will put a bid in for Xavi Simons. I just hope it's enough to convince Leipzig to go, okay, there you go. You know, you can go to Chelsea. I mean, the thing is, we're not going to be waiting long because Leipzig have authorised the player to go to London for 48 hours only. And that is including today. So we need an answer where he's going today or tomorrow, basically.
Yeah, but, you know, if it doesn't happen, you know it's football. Then he flies back to Leipzig and then we make a bid and then he just flies back to London. But no.
Yeah, maybe. But I do think as well, there's been so much reporting from like Sky Germany. And I think Leipzig are using that like Spurs' interest as a bit of a pressure tactic because at the end of the day, and I've been told this very, very reliably, if Chelsea want the player, they're going to get the player by putting the bid in. They know what can be accepted and what won't be accepted. So really, we're just waiting for our move.
You said to me earlier in our group chat that you think we need to match Spurs' bid of 70 million euros. Do you think that will happen?
I think so. Will it happen? I don't know. That's what we're waiting for. I mean, technically it should, because if Matt Law's right, by the way, I think he said, the Athletics German reporter said that the bid from Spurs is 51 point something million pounds plus add-ons reaching 60 million. So 70 million euros is around 60 million pounds. So that's not even you're just seeing this Stuttgart lanky striker who's had one good season go for even more than Xavi. I mean, that price is so respectable in this market. So, and Spurs have literally verbally agreed this within 24 hours. So I don't know what Chelsea are doing, but I just really hope in the next few hours we get some news where Chelsea have gone in and bid and everything's fine, you know. Because I just, how are we going to let this collapse? Like, we've been on this for 5-6 weeks. You know, we've been waiting to get the sales through. So
yeah, exactly. I think so. Like I say, when I brought up Fermin Lopez, I'll bring you just in, Dimitar. When I brought up Fermin Lopez, I just don't think we should do that to players. Like, sure, they earn enough money and this and that, but I'm like, he's clearly agreed to join us. He clearly wants to join us over at the team. Spurs have shown an interest in him already, like a couple of weeks ago. He told them, no, I want Chelsea. Obviously, he's now going to want to look at a second potential option if our deal falls through, because he's clearly, obviously, way too good to play at RB Leipzig for any longer. He's arguably already stayed there for too long as it is. But Dimitar, where do you stand on it? Like, especially with the costs seemingly being at least close to 70 million euros. I see more and more people like Ricky here. I saw somebody else earlier in the chat as well. Fermin Lopez being the better player. I don't really know. Like, to me, it was just one of the many really good Barca kids, but I don't really know how good, if that makes sense. So I would like to get Simons done. Would you like to get Simons done? Because, you know, you and me think we could also keep Jackson and play João Pedro as a 10, but that's clearly not going to happen. Yeah. So then I'd rather Xavi Simons, who we've been trying to get, and I've kind of gotten used to the idea of getting, then all of a sudden change our minds with Fermin Lopez. But that's kind of what we did with Cole Palmer 3 years ago. So, you know, sometimes it works for you, I guess.
Well, I think for me, the best choice would be what the manager wants. And I think I kind of got the impression from the group chat in the last, let's say, month when we discussed Simons that Maresca kind of would want to use a player like Simons. And I am not sure because, like you said, the Barcelona kid is a different profile. And then if we get him and we have only Delap and João Pedro for attack, then that I think maybe limits our options a little bit and maybe will force our hand to play Garnacho more than we would want to. Because in the ideal world, we don't sign Garnacho, but let's assume we sign him and Simons.
Dimitar, you got to assume Garnacho is happening anyway.
Yeah. So if we sign him and Simons and we have Gittins, then we would have, I think, all of the options that maybe Maresca would want to be tactically flexible. But if we're left only with Gittins and Garnacho, we're one injury away from Garnacho being our starting left winger for months, possibly. So this is a scenario I do not want to have. And it's
weird. I fear that's going to be happening exactly like that anyway. I think Garnacho is just better than Gittins, even though I don't like him, so he will play a lot.
Possibly, yeah. But if we get Simons, at least we know that there will be more competition on that side in specific cases. But as you mentioned, the price also, it seems a bit high considering other prices in the market. I mean, maybe the Madueke and Elanga transfers muddy the waters a bit because they were also a bit overpriced. But 70 million euro for this guy, I don't know. I'm not super convinced on the price, but like I said, if the manager thinks he wants to use him and he looks like an interesting player who will add some depth to the squad in various positions. So it would be interesting, but let's hope that they don't overspend or that they don't bottle this. Because losing him to Spurs, like Pai said, would be optically a nightmare. I mean, this would be insane because we would be the butt of the joke for the entire autumn. Because, like, first we made fun of Tottenham, oh, you lost Eze, and now if we lose Simons to them, then, like, we are the losers, not them. So, yeah, it's going to be entertaining last couple of days in the market. I think we have 3 days or 2 days, so something like that, 72
including
hours.
Monday. So
Including Monday, okay. Oh, so some time left, but not that much to just like waste it, yeah.
Pretty much. Pice, we have a little bit more that we need to talk about, and one of them is the Nicholas Jackson situation. It seems like the team currently closest to signing him is Bayern Munich. Obviously, Newcastle, now that they are signing Nick Woltemade, obviously they are not really an option for Nicholas Jackson anymore, which is, for me, a bit of a concern because it's more and more looking like that it's just going to be a loan. And I feel like the way the word loan is being used, it's not going to be a loan with obligation, because otherwise they're not going to be so adamant on the word loan. And I just think that's a huge howler, because I feel like Nicholas Jackson is the guy that's worth real dollar, in my opinion, and should be going for 75, 80 million upwards, in my opinion, purely on value. Considering Šeško went for 75 million, I think Jackson is a significantly better player than Šeško, like significantly better player than Šeško is, in my opinion. Not necessarily better full-time potential, but currently a significantly better player, much more proven at a much higher level. But we're not going to get that. We're not even going to get any permanent feel. But Nick Woltemade went for 85 million. Ashraf, is that pounds or euros? Probably euros.
Well, to be honest, Germany are saying 85 million euros. In England, they're briefing like 10, 15 mil under, so who knows?
10, 50 mil under that, or 10, 50 mil under in pounds?
So I think England are briefing 70 million pounds, and like Germany a bit
than 85.
Yeah, and Germany are briefing like 75 plus 5 in pounds. So
okay,
yeah, I don't know, not that much of a difference, but still, you get this sometimes. You know,
bit of a difference. Yeah,
Stuttgart will say, "Oh, they paid us this," and then Newcastle will go, "Actually, no, it was lower." You see it all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but that's crazy.
It's
mad.
This is what I'm saying. Mad. Nicholas Jackson should be 100 million at least. If Woltemade is 90 million, Nicholas Jackson should be 150. Have you seen Wirtz? Jackson is miles better than that. Do you know what I mean? Have you seen how shit he's been, man? Do you know what I mean? Look at what Nicholas Jackson did on his debut against Liverpool. It's been better than Wirtz has been in his 3 games. My God. But it's not going to happen, though, is it, Pice? It's going to be a loan. He's going to go to Bayern. And at the best of things, we have an option that maybe turns into an obligation if he plays enough games. But then they will just not make him play enough games. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah. I mean, look. I mean, if Chelsea let him go on loan, like just a dry loan without any permanence to it, then you absolutely have to make sure, like, you make a signing, like, you know what I mean, Garnacho plus, you know, you need that number 10, because the last thing I want to happen is Jackson goes, we only sign Garnacho, we don't sign a 10, and in that way, people could be like, well, we have depth. But if you think about it, if Esteval moves to the 10, then we only have Pedro Neto probably on the right side, and then if João Pedro moves back to the 10, then we only have the lap up front. So we need if we're going to let a striker go, you know, then we have João Pedro and Delap, but you also need a number 10 as well, like someone in that area, because then you just if you're just shifting players and you don't bring anyone in, then you lose the depth in striker or winger. So you absolutely have to get someone in no matter what if you let Jackson go. And if it's on a loan and we can't get a permanent deal, well, then you better make sure you go and get Xavi Simons.
Like Ricky said here, the issue is that we desperately need to let Jackson go because we need to balance the UEFA books so clubs are lowballing us. But the problem is we need sales. And maybe a loan with obligation you can count. And maybe that's why somehow it would be okay. Yeah. I'm not sure, but that's why I imagine the loan plus obligation is even an option for us. But a loan that doesn't guarantee us the money now, that means we can't sign on the players. So
I mean, there must be, Laurenz, there must be some sort of loophole to it, because like,
I think so.
I mean, Fab started saying, you know, like we have to get obligation or we have to permanently sell Nkunku and Jackson, whether that's obligation or permanent. And all of a sudden, if Chelsea don't get permanent bids, we're allowing Jackson to leave on loan. So if we couldn't sign a player, like, so for example, I think we'd just not allow Jackson to go. But the fact that we're allowing Jackson to go on a loan, just a dry loan, means there must be some sort of workaround. Like, sure, like
I would assume so. I would assume so, but you could never be too sure. JC asks, so if Jackson goes out on loan, does that mean we've used up our international loan chances or spots? I read it was 6, but I'm not sure if that was including Anselmino or not. So with that said, then either yes or we have, or I would already think we are full. So I don't really know how that would go, if I'm being totally honest, JC. But there you go. Before we move on to quickly touch on Garnacho after that as well, Dimitar, just your thoughts on that Jackson situation. Like, you and me both think he should probably better off staying and using other players differently, but just because of the, he's just proven himself to an extent in the Premier League. I know some people in the chat seem to really not rate him, but that you're always going to get that. But if he's going to leave, it can't just be alone. Like, we can't just let it be alone.
We need the replacement, because I always like to think attackers as pure numbers. So if we think about it that way, we let go of Madueke, who scored, I think, 8 or 7 goals last season. If we let go of Jackson, we also lose another 10 goals. And then let's say we replace them with Estevao, Gittens, Joao Pedro, and Delap. So are these 4 players expected to score much more than what we lost? If you also consider we lost Mudryk, if you also consider we're giving up on Nkunku, we're giving up on depth and goals scored. I mean, I hope Pedro and Delap can score more than 10 goals each, but it's possible they can't. And if like Pai said, we just start shifting players for depth, then you don't have depth. You're just waiting for an injury to have a crisis, basically. And we should do everything possible to avoid this. And I hope there is some sort of scheme, something they have in mind where they can let him go in some way, shape, or form, and then maybe we can get in the number 10/left winger that we want. But I mean, we need 2 players if we lose Jackson and Nkunku. So I think this is the main thing here.
I think we will get 2 players. The question is who the 2 players will be. I think that's, well, I'm not sure. maybe we could only get Garnacho, but I guess we should go on that. End on that, I guess. Last night we got the Fabrizio cryptic tweets of an Argentinian flag, 2 kind of sand clocks up and down, and soon, or whatever it said. And the latest one is Chelsea Man United locked in talks for Alejandro Garnacho's transfer. Chelsea confirmed the proposal of 40 million pounds as total package, so 35 million pounds plus 5 million add-ons, waiting for Man United's green light. The deal will happen just a matter of time, as Garnacho only wants Chelsea. Here we go soon. Pice, you and me on our podcast again, link is down in the description to Chelsea Unfiltered. I've spoken plenty of times how we don't want Garnacho, but I've also spoken plenty of times how we essentially at the end we're kind of resigned to do it, and once he is here, we'll obviously kind of support him and hope that he does well. But yeah, it's going to happen. It was always said, once Nkunku leaves, Xavi Simons going to happen. But then as soon as we got some positive Nkunku news last night, the first thing that came out was Garnacho is about to happen. So do they even correlate? I don't really know, but Garnacho is happening. Just any more thoughts you have on this?
No, I'm just at the acceptance stage, to be honest. it's happening, and it is what it is. I don't rate the player. I don't see how he works or helps us against deep blocks, which we face most of the time. He's very transitional. He's not a good dribbler. His finishing is very inconsistent. He takes a high volume of shots, but mostly lead to nothing usually. And the big thing, I guess, is his attitude, and I've been told privately so many times that you'll get like this honeymoon period. He'll probably kiss the badge early on, and then 6, 7, 8 months down the line, when he gets rotated or whatever, like there will be incidents. They'll be shocked if there's not incidents, and I'm like, what's the point? Like I don't get it. Like, why even take the risk? Like, I know why, because they see it as a market opportunity and they think he's undervalued and he's going on a cheap. And, for me, it's more about the performance of things. But Chelsea seems like at times it's more about the business. So, I mean, I don't want the guy. I mean, I'd be shocked if he doesn't have like, what I mean? If like the narrative around him just completely switches just because he's moved from Man United. I know it's it's a hellhole to succeed in for players, and but still, like it doesn't mean you can underperform there, but the attitude side of things is more where I worry about. I mean, the last manager. I mean, not any manager doesn't want to be disrespected, but Maresca is not going to take any shit from like Garnacho. So I feel like if he starts, you know what I mean? Like if he starts trouble, we are like Maresca is not going to take any of that. So I just feel like this is a player we're buying not for the manager and more for business, because he's cheap, he's worth more. Let's get him. And
to be clear though, he still does fit the profile of player that the manager does want, but the manager probably doesn't specifically want Garnacho.
I mean, technically, he is a winger, but like he is a touchline winger. But the problem is that he can't dribble, so it doesn't really help, especially against low blocks. And so,
but you've seen last week already. You've seen when Gittins plays. The problem is our wingers are 1 against 2 anyway, and then there's no point dribbling. So, I think the run volume is much more relevant than the dribbling ability, in my opinion, against those low blocks. But who knows? Like I agree with pretty much every word you've said. For me, it's like I'm going to try to look at positives once it happens. I've looked at, Sancho was supposed to be this crazy bad guy. Didn't seem to be a problem at all at Chelsea until he refused the contract offer that we made him, which I still find is a bit of a shame. Because otherwise I wouldn't have to deal with Gittins and Garnacho. At least I'd only have to deal with one of them. So fuck you, Sancho. Why have you done that to me? But like this message from Distinguished Pug says, I kind of trust Garnacho more than I trust Gittins. I'm not going to stand by the second word fully, but the second part of this message fully. But at this point, I trust him more. Like it's a bit like the situation with Jackson. I'm like, well, he's shown in the Premier League that he can do this. It's a whole different ball game, showing that you can do certain things in the Bundesliga. Whole different kettle of fish. And looking half decent at the worst Man United in history. Don't know. Like again, I don't want Garnacho, and for the same reasons that you say, Pys. But if it's going to happen, I'm trying to look at positive. That's what I'm saying. Dimitar, where do you stand on Garnacho? Similar to Pys, trying to look at positives? What do you think?
He's completely right. He fits the profile, but I think that's the profile from the accounting department, not that much from the manager. Because at least my how to say it, my idea of Garnacho is he does what he wants on the pitch sometimes. And you know that some coaches, let's say, have tactical rigidity in the first and second third, and then they let you be free in the final third. I kind of get the vibes from Garnacho. He always had it in his head. When he enters the final third, he'll do whatever the hell he wants, regardless of managerial instructions. And I think that has been the problem thus far in his career, because he's too rash. He makes the wrong decisions, and he takes too much shots, and he's flashy. He's a bit arrogant. I mean, maybe he needs a strict coach like Maresca. Maybe he will cause some problems and then fall in line eventually, or maybe he'll be a total flop. We don't know. But this transfer just has the vibes we really want to flip him. Let's say if we buy him for £35 million this summer, if we get a £50 million offer next summer from Saudi, he's gone. He's absolutely gone.
You got to remember, Quenda is coming, and we already paid €70 million for him.
Yeah, I mean, also we have Kendry Páez, so there are all of these youngsters who we have on the books and who are also supposed to be generational talents in some kind of position in and around the attack. So, like another 20-year-old, is he gonna change much? Probably not, unless he does like a worldy season. But I have my doubts on that personally.
Yeah, I think we all have our doubts on that one a little bit. Now, just to finish off the stream, because I think that is all the transfer news covered that has come out today. Otherwise, Pys, please scream in my face. Chelsea have finally managed to come up with a proper Champions League draw graphic. So there we can see it one last time, one very nice time, we got to say. Why on earth didn't they use David Luiz for the Pafos picture? I mean, that is kind of outrageous from you, Chelsea, for being totally honest with you.
Yep.
But here we are. This is what we got. Yeah, it looks nice. I'm excited. It's good to play some big teams, like I say, Barca, Bayern, Napoli. It's fun. It's good fun. I love the Champions League. I love being back in the Champions League. And I'm excited for it. Can't speak. Pys, Dimitar, thank you both very, very much for tuning in. For joining me today. Check out Pice's links down in the description. Of course, his Twitter. I'm sure you all follow him already. But if you don't, please do. And of course, check out his playback where he streams himself. Plenty of streams to check out over there. So click the link down in the description. Of course, check out Dimitar on Twitter too. But if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button on this channel. Like the video, the stream. If you haven't done that yet, just one click of a button. It really does mean a lot. So please do click that button. It would be very nice. And for a third time, click the link to mine and Pice's podcast, Chelsea Unfiltered, on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, every week after every game. So tune in and appreciate it. Wait, Ashraf said Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs what? Pies, have you seen it already?
I don't know. What's happening?
I don't know either.
Oh, there's something, is there?
Oh, yeah. There is something.
Simons has already agreed. There's no club to go with Chelsea. I mean, it's just the same thing. Like, it's just Chelsea need to put the bid in. Like, Spurs can advance as much as they want, but it's up to Chelsea if we put the bid in or not, you know?
Yeah. Essentially, it's the same thing. And this is what I hate so much about transfer news. What do you mean bomber breaking?
It's not breaking, though, is it?
No, unless Ornstein said something as well, has he?
I don't think so. No.
Also, happy birthday, David Ornstein. If the balloon's already going to pop on my share screen. But yeah, there you go. This is what I hate about transfer window nowadays. Bring me back to 2010, man. When we didn't know every single transfer news for 3 weeks before. I know it's your job, Pice. I know. But I still miss those days.
The only relevant thing is that Chelsea have to be fast. That is true. That is definitely true, like Ben says.
Yeah. Chelsea need to be quick. And if anything, a good kick up the arse isn't usually the worst thing for Chelsea. Now, my opinion is that we still get Simons and we get Garnacho. But I'm obviously getting less and less optimistic by the day and by the hours. And the more reports about Spurs are close, the more annoyed I will get. So, yeah. One more time, gentlemen, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out Pies down below. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and we will see you next time.